tardes, ya estamos acá en su programa Dos Fronteras nuevamente. Bienvenidos a todos, mi nombre es Jorge Melchor, estamos con Jorge Braga y nuestro querido Simon Williams. Ya estamos de regreso aquí, tenemos un invitado especial, Tomás Salgado, bienvenido.
Muchas gracias, gracias por la invitación y espero que podamos estar aquí varias ocasiones con ustedes, apoyándolos.
Muchísimas gracias. Pues ya estamos pues nuevamente de regreso. Jorgito, tenemos muchísimas preguntas que hacerle aquí a nuestro amigazo Tomás Salgado. Pues muchas, yo creo que podemos empezar, no sé, de cualquier lado, o tú tienes algunas preguntas que hacer, mi querido Jorge.
Bueno, pues yo ya me había adelantado precisamente porque conozco pues la carga de trabajo que tiene el profesor Tomás en la encomienda esta con todo lo que tenga que ver con el Jiu Jitsu, la parte del Neo-Waza y los eventos internacionales y nacionales que él conduce. Y ya le había preguntado cómo estaba su carga de trabajo, pero pues no me quiero brincar. Simon es el entrevistador.
Buenazo. Let's introduce Simon. Simon, welcome to the show, man. So this is Tomás Salgado. He's the Mexican director of the Jiu Jitsu, and he is going to explain to us what exactly, because we were talking about it and we were confused about it. He was running the Olympic Committee or the Jiu Jitsu organization and so on. But, you know, also we have questions about like basically how was the progress of the Mexican Jiu Jitsu in today's time. And that, I guess that's one of the questions. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, I'm really interested in, you know, what Tomás has done and how he sees the development of BJJ in Mexico, how he sees the future, because, you know, we've spoken to a few people on the podcast about, you know, how many people are now getting involved in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts more generally in Mexico. So I was just really interested to see how Tomás thinks that's going, where he thinks that's going.
Okay.
No, si puedes contestar en español, pongamos en español, como te sientas mejor.
En inglés, español, como ustedes me digan, no tengo problema. Si quieren contesto en inglés lo que tenga que ver con Simon. Well, nowadays, Jiu-Jitsu in Mexico has grown so fast. When we started Jiu-Jitsu in Mexico about 26 years ago, there were only 2 academies. The first, we can call it the first national championship, was held in around 2003 in Monterrey, with only 16 people fighting at it. Yeah. From then up until 2009, was conformed the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu aggregation or association, properly named, and started doing championships. Mexican Federation has been around the 2000. It's the 25th anniversary this year. And since then, it has grown with the first approach was Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
When I arrived to the Federation in 2009, 2010, they started exploring what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. For them, Newaza was only a small part of the combat, do the traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu approach that was mainly focused on doing fighting with the fist and the foot, kicking and punching basically, and then some throws. Then they have like 10 seconds or so the ground fighting. If you have to stage at each of these scenarios, one ippon to win the fight. Okay, so that is called the full ippon.
So kind of like judo rules to an extent.
Yeah, we extended with punching and kicking. Yeah. You know. Sorry. Then after that, they started exploring Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with me. I helped them develop the first national championship with them in 2010. There were only like 20 people fighting with us at that moment, because the other association was working previously and most people were working with them. They started growing faster. So we started on the federated program. Mexican Jiu-Jitsu Federation depends on the Pan American Union of Jiu-Jitsu, and from the Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, which is based in Abu Dhabi.
Mhm.
With them, we started developing the programs towards reaching out more people within the national territory, and started growing the tournaments. One main difference we had amongst the other organizations here in Mexico was that once that you become champion in the weight category, you were a national part of the national team.
Okay.
The national team started to compete first on the continental championships and then towards the world championships.
Mhm.
So from there we started. We grew our tournaments from 20 people. The last national championship we had here in Mexico City were around 780 people, all of them federated, all of them trying to get a spot towards the national team. Our national team went to compete last September in Panama on the continental championships. We earned 36 medals, and only 8 of them reached the world championship, which be held in November in Thailand. So it's been developing programs here in Mexico now from 4 academies that were only in the whole country. Nowadays we have listed at least 250 federated, and non-federated should be plenty more. We have a presence in 21 states in Mexico. Well,
Wow.
we're missing 11 states, basically on the north of the country, mostly in the border with the U.S.
Yeah.
Those guys have their own organizations, and it's fine. We're pretending to work along with them, and if they want to join forces, we're more than pleased to do so.
Sure.
That's pretty cool, Simon, isn't it? Like now you can see the numbers growing up in Mexico. I mean, I remember we were two schools, right, back in the day, and in Mexico City it was Renzo and some other school I can't even remember. But that tell you, the numbers that are going off in Mexico. How many people have been practicing science for 25 years, man? We are old.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Simon? So that gives you the real numbers of how the sport has been growing up every year. So what do you think, Simon?
Yeah, you're still not too old to tap me 3 times a week, apparently. So yeah.
I know, right? We practice every day, man. We practice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested. Did any of that sort of trace of the Japanese style, Japanese jiu-jitsu remain in the early days of development? If you weren't focusing on ground fighting, if you weren't focusing on, I suppose the classic Gracie jiu-jitsu, were there different styles and different locks that came out of that sort of early focus on the standing up style, the striking style?
Yeah, well, Mexican Federation works with mainly 4, I don't want to call it styles, or 4 kind of the types of jiu-jitsu. They are called basically Newaza, which is Brazilian jiu-jitsu, fighting system, which is the traditional jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu, duo system, which is basically self-defense. You present in a self-defense way. Either it's by couples. You get your couple and you do the performance of the self-defense techniques. And then we have another new modality which is called combat jiu-jitsu. Combat jiu-jitsu resembles combat sambo, sport sambo.
Yeah.
Then none of the traditional jiu-jitsu has been lost, but some of the athletes which were performing only traditional jiu-jitsu stepped over towards the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So if we have the numbers, right? We saw the federation grow with the traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu, and then becoming shorter, but not quite. And then the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's exploding. Each year, we get around 400 new applicants towards joining the federation.
Wow.
Nowadays should be around 4,500 or so athletes federated in the Mexican territory.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
very cool.
That's cool.
And so, should I let me ask this in Spanish because, I think it's this for the audience in Mexico and New Jersey. So, but those that they speak Spanish here. But I would like to ask him, like, ¿qué es la diferencia de estas nuevas generaciones y cuáles han sido las digamos así, las barreras que tienes que tuvieron que cruzar como toda la organización para poder llegar a este número tan grande de personas que están ahorita entrenando ya o están afiliados a la organización, ¿no? ¿Cuál es, más que nada la pregunta general, cuáles han sido las barreras que has tenido que cruzar en tu organización o en la organización, Tomás?
Básicamente son las tendencias, o sea, es la tendencia. El Jiu-Jitsu brasileño marcó una tendencia clara hacia dónde tendría que ir el combate en el piso. Ajá. Pero la gente fue empezando a diversificar, empezaron a entrar estilos de lucha, empezaron a entrar a conocerse estilos que se desconocían como el sambo, ajá, courage, etcétera, etcétera. O sea, se fueron mezclando. Entonces la gente empezó a ver por dos lados. De repente, la tendencia actual es el no-gi, el grappling. Ajá. Entonces, la federación va viendo cuál es la tendencia y la va adoptando, ¿sí? Nosotros como tendencia, o sea, yo no puedo decir, me quedo solo como federación de Jiu-Jitsu japonés, los que quieran hacer Jiu-Jitsu brasileño que busquen su esquina y que lo hagan donde tengan que hacerlo. ¿Por qué? Porque yo tengo que dar, al ser una federación, un deporte federado como tal, tengo que darle cabida a todos los que buscan la modalidad. Ojo, se llama Federación Mexicana de Jiu-Jitsu, no Federación Mexicana de Jiu-Jitsu brasileño o de Jiu-Jitsu japonés. Es decir, el Jiu-Jitsu es el nombre, el apellido ya será japonés, brasileño, combat, duo system, lo que sea. Entonces, no estamos vinculados a ningún estilo en particular. Tenemos representantes para cada estilo, es decir, tenemos un encargado del desarrollo de la parte de Newaza, un encargado del desarrollo de la parte de Jiu-Jitsu tradicional, de la parte de duo system, de fighting system, etcétera, etcétera. O sea, tenemos gente experta en cada rama para hacer ese desarrollo. Y obviamente marcar la tendencia. No-gi está haciendo la tendencia hoy en día. El año pasado fue por primera vez incluido en el campeonato mundial de nosotros. Entonces México llevó una delegación de 17 atletas a competir. Este año estamos llevando 8 atletas a competir en la modalidad de no-gi. Tenemos 2 atletas rankeados en el primer lugar. Tenemos básicamente 10 atletas rankeados dentro de los primeros 5 del mundo en las distintas categorías en no-gi. Ajá. Y la única manera de llegar ahí es a través del deporte federado, haciendo las competencias que realizamos a lo largo del país. Tenemos un circuito muy largo a lo largo del país para poder traer a lo mejor de todos lados hacia la selección, ajá, conformar el equipo nacional.
Wow. Es increíble, ¿no, Jorge? Que haya evolucionado tanto el deporte en México y bueno, y saber que pues, a veces se tienen sus barreras ahí para poder lograr esos objetivos. Me imagino que debe haber sido un poquito difícil tener o llegar a estos números, ¿no, Tomás? ¿O cómo es que te sientes desde el momento que iniciaste hasta ahorita que ya estás viendo estos grandes resultados, toda la gente que se está asociando con ustedes y que está, bueno, de alguna forma colaborando y más que nada, pues, incrementando los números cada año, ¿no? ¿Cómo te sientes al respecto?
No, evidentemente me siento muy bien, porque es resultado del trabajo que se ha hecho, de la planeación estratégica que se hace para poder llegar a todos los rincones del país y poder conjuntar a los mejores elementos a nivel nacional para que puedan hacerse las competencias y conformar la selección. Al final de cuentas, también es un proceso que conlleva tiempo, pero lo estamos viendo hoy con las nuevas generaciones. Muchos jóvenes se están acercando, o sea, nosotros tenemos la información de cómo van llegando por edades y ahorita ha crecido mucho el número de infantiles, pero sobre todo los juveniles ha crecido muchísimo y realmente es halagador ver cómo la gente se está acercando hacia el deporte federado por los beneficios que esto les da.
Suena perfecto. ¿Y qué vaticinas en 20 años o 15 años que estos pequeños puedan llegar a representar a México o a tener, pues ya, bueno, yo creo que la ilusión muchos de ellos es ser campeones de la federación o a nivel panamericano, etcétera, pero también de alguna forma llegar a competir en lugares como en el UFC y estas otras organizaciones que están acá en los Estados Unidos, ¿no? Pero me imagino que esa es la meta, ¿no?
Sí, claro. O sea, la federación, recordemos que es considerada como deporte amateur. Es el trampolín para que ellos puedan llegar a los deportes profesionales, ya sea artes marciales mixtas. Ahora UFC tiene una nueva modalidad que es el UFC BJJ. Ajá. Entonces, algunos de ellos nos han manifestado la inquietud. Nosotros no tenemos ese vínculo con UFC, pero vaya, sabemos que hay gente que puede llevarlos para ese lado, siempre y cuando ellos pues vayan haciendo bien su circuito nacional o su circuito en el extranjero. Les va a dar mucha visibilidad. Y esa es la función de la federación, empezar a generar un semillero de atletas jóvenes que podamos trabajar con ellos algunos años y ya de ahí ellos determinar a dónde quieren ir, ¿no? Algunos querrán ser profesores, algunos querrán seguir compitiendo y es sumamente loable. Muchos atletas hoy en día buscan en el Jiu Jitsu lo que no existe, que es la premiación en efectivo, ¿no? Que se lleven premios o bolsas en efectivo, y eso no existe en el lado del Jiu Jitsu. Son pocos los organizadores que dan dinero, o los premios pues son cortos comparados con MMA, ¿no? Por ejemplo. Entonces, esa parte nosotros en un momento dado no podemos solventarla al ser parte de la máquina del deporte federado. No podemos generarles un ingreso nosotros a los atletas, pero sí apoyarlos a que lo busquen y que lo consigan si ese es parte de su objetivo. Ajá.
So what do you think, Simon? It's pretty interesting now, the evolution, the challenges that the organization, organizations like the Mexican Federation of Jiu-Jitsu is facing, is always money, but also, we have like new borns, new students. He's talking about kids that they are, fearless to compete and, become in some point teachers or professional fighters, which is some of the goals of these athletes, I guess. So it's very interesting. The whole evolution in Mexico is fascinating too, and I kind of feel so proud that we are higher in these numbers. So as you can see, Simon. So what do you think?
Yeah, one of the things I was curious about actually is with the as Tomás said, you if you started with a small number of academies, a small number of professors, and I think Tomás, you got your black belt about 2008, 2009, something like that. Is that correct?
No,
can you hear
my black
it?
belt was achieved in 2011. I joined the federation in 2009, being around, which at the moment in Mexico there were only a handful of black belts, perhaps even less than 5. From then, there was explosion. Now, I don't know, at least we have listed 250 black belts, but there are plenty more.
Wow.
Yeah.
I suppose the thing that was interesting, with all of the modern innovations, if you like, in no-gi jiu-jitsu, in this sort of very modern, fast styles, all of these strange new guards and locks. How easy is it with a smaller, growing federation to integrate those styles, to teach those styles, to keep? I mean, I suppose with the internet these days, it's quite easy to keep up with what these guys are doing. But do you see that being integrated into what your schools do, what Mexican academies are doing?
Yes, definitely. We have to go with the trend. Trending is everything nowadays, so we have to go with the trend. How we did to achieve our knowledge in no-gi. We started inviting people. We in Mexico, we were the organizers for AJP. When AJP champions, world champions, arrived to Mexico to compete, we invited them to give seminars. That's how we started, and we are always more than welcome, more than pleased to have them here and teach us whatever they have to show. Because AJP has been a milestone in Mexican Jiu Jitsu, because it's the only tournament that not only brings black belts to compete in Mexico, it brings people from all levels, all belts to compete in Mexico, even kids. We have kids from Mongolia competing in Mexico. That's something nobody has seen. We have
Are the Mongolian kids as scary as the Mongolian seniors with their wrestling background?
you can bet on it. You can bet. So I mean, they have this look. They have like warriors, like a small Genghis Khan.
Sí, sí.
They're focused on fighting. So even though we end the fight, the kid keeps struggling, and you have to keep them separated. Even though you give him the medal, he says, "No, I want another fight. I want another fight." Take it easy, boy. Take it easy. But it's
as a Welshman and an immigrant myself, you know that when a Mexican says that they're real warriors, that they really are.
Yeah. And we have people from in Cancun. When we have this tournament, we gather like 24 countries. People from all over the world come to compete. Now we're having our tournament on the October 25th here in Mexico City. At least we have right now 14 countries coming to compete, mostly European and American and Asia. We have people from Asia. Once we have a sheik's son competing here in Mexico. That was really, really hard because he came with all his security towards this championship, and we didn't know what to do. Like, I mean, nobody goes with the bodyguard towards the mat, and we stopped the bodyguard and says, he's not coming alone. He's not coming alone. People from AGP calling us, and no, you have to allow them to go near with them. Okay, we allow them, but it's quite different.
Sure.
I mean, culturally, it's different, and that is something most of the Mexicans are really enjoying. That being either white belts, they get to compete against people from all over the world.
That's great.
Yeah, great. And looking ahead, you said the World Championship coming up in October. Is there anyone on the Mexican team representing your federation you have high hopes for? Who are the stars? Who are the standouts?
Well, we have 4 people that are really tough main cards. One of them is a girl under 52, minus 52. Her name is Perla Montserrat Arias. We call it La Rusa. It's the nickname. She's really tough. She won in Panama. She won 8 fights, all by submission. Her mindset is focus on submission. Focus on submission. Really technical girl, pretty strong. We have Elias Cuevas on the male division, under 69 kilos. As well, he's really tough. He has very good takedowns. He's a judo professional. He's a judo black belt as well. And he works really well. He's from Mérida, Yucatan. Perla is from Tonalá, Jalisco. So you see people from different parts of the country. We have Armando Villaseñor, which is under 56 kilograms as well. He's really tough. He has really good ground fighting, very skilled in leg locks. Even though he's a blue belt, he has competed against black belts with great results.
Wow.
We have on the underage kids, Santino Arenas. He's a newcomer, but he's quite impressive. He's 14 years old. He's about 1.75 meters height, and really tough kid. He won in Panama really easy for him at his age. He's doing a quite different jiu-jitsu because his team in Mexico, he's from San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato. His team is affiliated with Gustavo Carpio in Canada. So you see the different trendings from all the world are reaching towards the Mexican territory, and we have plenty more people that we can put our thoughts on the medals. But mainly these 4 out of the 8 we have, for sure there will be gold medals. The other 4 athletes, I'm not underestimating them, but they should be around, because their divisions are tougher. The other divisions are tougher. So for them, we expect them to get to the podium. Yes, either bronze or silver. Of course, the gold would be amazing. And there's another style called para jiu-jitsu. Para jiu-jitsu, it's kind of a Paralympic kind of sport, but adapted to jiu-jitsu. Well, Mexico has two athletes which are world champions. Last August in China, they held third place on the World Games.
Wow.
So Mexico is considered amongst the 15th place all over the world in the world ranking system for Jiu-Jitsu in the JJIF, which is Jiu-Jitsu International Federation.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah, especially when you think of the amount of money that China is putting into para sports. Para combat sports is unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure they spend more on their para athletes than you spend on your entire federation in a year. You know, they are throwing a vast amount of money at that from Beijing. So wow, that's pretty amazing.
That's very good. So let me ask Tomás, and I think Jorge probably will agree with that. You know, like a lot of the students or the people who practice jiu-jitsu into today's time, they really wanted to see some future, for them. By that means, like they probably want to have a job, or they want to have enough money to compete. And we know that Mexico, for some reasons, they don't have a strong economy, and they have some problems or stuff like that. And I think you also face those problems or challenges, Tomás, when you were competing. As an athlete, you didn't have probably enough support to go to the whole competitions around the States or Europe or Brazil, I guess. You knew that money was the most important thing to be a great compete. To compete everywhere in the whole world, you will need the money. So what do you think? Do you think the federation will in the future support all of these athletes in a way that you probably wanted to be supported when you start practicing or competing?
Well, nowadays we're supporting our athletes. Our athletes don't pay anything to travel with us to compete. We are the only sports federation in Mexico that covers all expenses for our athletes.
Cool.
Departing from Mexico City towards the rest of the world. I mean, from the people that come from Tijuana or comes from Merida, they have to cover their own expenses from their residence towards Mexico City, and from here, they are coming with us. That's our first step. It's always been like that. On the future, Mexican Federation underneath has their state associations. Each state association will have small pieces of the budget we get from the national authorities for them to reach out and spread the jiu-jitsu knowledge amongst. They can do seminars which will be held free for their athletes, or help some academies that are struggling. It's common that when disaster arrives in Mexico, either hurricanes or earthquakes, Federation helps support some academies. The idea is not the Federation to do it, but their state associations to do it as well. So the idea is it will be for to reach the goal as in the Arab countries, where no one gets to pay for the jiu-jitsu classes. You can join any academy. They have all the same program, either be Gracie Baja or be Atos. They have the same program based on the national program for the jiu-jitsu development, and no one gets to pay. If you're a foreigner, you have to pay your tuition. But if you're national, you're living in the United Arab Emirates, you don't get to pay for the jiu-jitsu classes. You have jiu-jitsu classes as for free. You can be whatever you want. That's our goal, to help promote the jiu-jitsu in that manner. But the professors have to be paid by the government.
Wow, that's very nice. So I have also, like, I was I taught 8 years, almost 9 years in Arizona. I taught jiu-jitsu there, and I hear a lot of news from you, because you got your black belt from Felipe Costas.
Yeah.
Felipe Costas was also training a Navajo guy. His name was Brandon. So
Yeah.
he get to know you, and it was so funny because we trained each other, and he was fascinated that Mexico was so so powerful, and it was so friendly in a way that the jiu-jitsu was training, and he was fascinated too that I was teaching there. So how did that change now? Like, you got your black belt from Felipe Costas, and now you have your organization. And so talk a little bit about those days, like the early days that you also quit your job from IT to dedicate yourself to the whole world of jiu-jitsu. Is something that is incredible, like, to see you taking that path. So can you talk a little bit about that? So how was that transition, and how make you decide to go for 100% jiu-jitsu rather than and leaving your IT jobs that pay probably more, or I don't know, we'll put numbers, but anyway.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, or a little bit about that?
Sure. In academic way, I'm formed as an systems engineer. I used to work for the big IT companies in Mexico, either IBM and Microsoft. And then my passion has always been martial arts. I started jiu-jitsu 26 years ago. And since then, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. Previously, I was doing Kung Fu, Wing Chun mainly. And then by switching to jiu-jitsu, I found my passion. And I have always wanted to have a school to teach. I helped our professor by teaching classes when he wasn't able to get to the academy, and for me it was amazing. Then 2011, post being graduated to black belt, I decided to dedicate full time towards jiu-jitsu. I remember taking one online seminar from Lloyd Irvin, and he said, like, okay, if jiu-jitsu is your hobby, it will return as a hobby. It will only give the pleasure towards yourself. But if you take it seriously, you have to do it your daily job. So I decided to do that, and boy, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Like not having the economic insurance to have money each 15 days. That's hard. And reaching out to the people. Some things I had never worried about were marketing. My idea was like, okay, my name is Tomás. I have my own mat. I have my own place. I pay my rent. People should come. How about they will find me? I wasn't able to do so, no. So I started learning. Then working with the federation, I get to know people from all over the country. So from there, I started traveling around, giving seminars. Making the brand for my academy. 2017, I split from Brasa. I split from Felipe, and decided to do on my own. And then 2019, the federation, previous to COVID, federation said, like, okay, Tomás, you have to work tightly with us. You help us to promote the jiu-jitsu. Previously, I was only a referee and doing tournaments in a small manner, but since 2019 I joined full-time with the federation. I'm proud to say, like, I'm one of the few people in Mexico that can get to live from Jiu-Jitsu. Not only from my academy, I have my own academy. I have a team which has a lot of academies, 17 affiliated academies around the country. And with the federation, I have a lot of work. I said when I exited Microsoft, I said, like, never in my life I'm touching a computer. Is what? Working on a computer the whole time. I have my laptop with me ever. I don't separate from it. So
I was going to ask you if you missed systems engineering, but you're probably doing more database building now, are you?
Yeah. The whole structure, the whole backbone for the federation, with all the metadata that is being held. Yep. And I'm doing the reports, and I'm doing the presentations, and I'm doing everything. We need a new brochure. I have to build it. So I'm working more in systems engineering nowadays than on my previous life.
Yeah. Mexican Federation probably has the best data architecture of any federation in the world now, right?
Yeah.
We try to be at least on the top. For AJP, we are on the third place of the best organizing committee for them worldwide. I mean, they are the first, of course. Second is the US, and we are the third for organizing events.
Wow.
With the platform.
Es increíble, mi querido Jorge, ¿no? Toda esta información, esta historia de Tomás, cómo llegó a este pilar, esta organización que está dirigiendo ahorita, o está participando, digámoslo así. Y bueno, no sé, a veces los destinos o seguimos las pasiones de lo que más nos gusta, y es donde ahí realmente nace todo, ¿no? Hay dinero, viaje, transporte y manutención para la familia. ¿Qué opinas, mi querido Jorge?
Bueno, pues me gustaría hacer una acotación a lo que mencionaba el profe Tomás sobre el crecimiento exponencial de Jiu-Jitsu. Como él decía, hay más de 250 cinturones negros ahorita y todo eso. Pero la situación es que lo que está generando ese crecimiento es la confianza, ¿no? O sea, por ejemplo, era un reclamo. Creo que todos escuchamos muchas veces los reclamos en las organizaciones de los eventos, ¿no? En donde llegabas y los pisos eran, pues ahí medios parchados en cualquier lugar. Y en cambio ahora llegas y ves una organización que tiene un preregistro, sabes tu horario de combate, hay un cuidado, ya llegan equipos de referees y de jueces perfectamente capacitados, lógico, con los pequeños detalles que pueden presentarse en cualquier toma de decisión de milésimas de segundo, ¿no? Pero ya ya se escucha de manera generalizada entre los entrenadores y los practicantes de que ya hay una organización que les da confianza, que les da crecimiento, que les da certeza. Hay objetivos establecidos de manera local, estatal, regional, nacional, y eso es lo que está generando. Y no llevó poco tiempo, ¿eh? O sea, eso es lo que hay que destacar.
26 años, estamos hablando de 26 años.
Muchísimo tiempo de trabajo. Y ahora, yo creo que no estamos en un punto, ¿cómo se llama? Como que hayamos iniciado ese tiempo. No, en este momento se están estableciendo esos puntos para que haya un mayor crecimiento. Así que en los próximos años va a haber muchos mejores resultados.
Es increíble. So Simon, what do you think is the whole evolution? No? 26 years from now on, he's talking about, like, the changes before. And I remember, I think I fought 1, 2, 3 tournaments there, and I have my first that tournament.
Todavía te existe eso, ¿no?
Sí, Tomás. Yeah,
hey.
I did this for the the love of the passion in Mexico. So I remember that, and as Jorge was mentioning, the whole organization, we didn't know with who to fight or how to fight, but we were there. It was the third tournament in Mexico City.
Sí.
The organization was like, whatever, you just go fight this guy. Like, who's in the list? But it was cool, man. I mean, but from that on, then it started taking off, and like you need a federation, you need someone like Tomás to be in charge of having all of the right equipment, the right process, and bringing working from the IT. I think he used his his talents to figure it out how to do all of those processes. I think I'm so happy that all of that works, and see the numbers in Mexico. See, now we have real numbers. The whole evolution is just right here. You can tell the whole story of the Jiu-Jitsu, how did they, how it begins until now, and how many people are keep signing and training. It's fascinating, I think, Simon. What do you think?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, I guess the next question I'd have would be about, this is the last 25 years. What's in the next 20 years? Is it just to continue that growth upwards? Is it, to try and do some of the things that maybe Abu Dhabi with a vast amount of oil money can do, which is to support more development, support more academies, like you say?
That would be interesting. That you get
where does it go? Or is that resource dependent? Is that funding dependent? What do you want to see happen?
Well, first, we see the federation in about 10 years replicating the Arab model, because we're now getting towards the school mechanism. In Abu Dhabi, every school, every elementary school, every university has to teach Jiu-Jitsu. Physical education is no longer one of the grades there. It's only Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
From kindergarten towards university, you have Jiu-Jitsu all the way up. In Mexico, we're working. I believe the first institution that has Jiu-Jitsu, it's located in Mérida, university that has Jiu-Jitsu as one of the sports, like soccer and football, in the rest of the sports community in the federated university. Nowadays, Jiu-Jitsu is part of the university sports championships worldwide. We call it Universiadas. So reaching towards there, we have to get into the school system with Jiu-Jitsu. From there, the growth will be exponential. From there, now the only martial art that I believe it's spread that way is Taekwondo, which is the most big, the most big martial art in Mexico, with the numbers for athletes like 40,000 affiliated sports, something like that. But in that way, having more people affiliated, we get to manage more budget and help more academies. So replicating that model with the proper restrictions, because they have unlimited funds as well. So we have limited funds. We have to do it in small steps,
Yeah, of course.
But that's the idea. That's the idea. And getting more people to compete outside Mexico, because competing only with Mexicans will get you, to a near end, but getting towards outside the country will get you a long way.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Fantastic. Well, very good luck, and we wish you all the best. You've obviously made an amazing start, though. So well done for the last 25 years. Here's to the next 25 years.
Hope so. Thank you.
So wow, that's incredible. So now in the personal life, you already have two boys or one boy, Tomás?
I have two kids. Two kids.
And they're boys,
right? At 15 years old and at 12 years old.
Oh my God, I just, wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
I remember it was like 3 or 4 years old. Now he's 15.
Yeah, he's 15.
And he's competing and training too? Or?
No, they decided to stop Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm not pushing them towards Jiu-Jitsu. Then whenever they wanted to show up, they're more than welcome to show up to training. But they're into soccer, so you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Hopefully, my thoughts are on them getting back towards jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I have. You guys gonna laugh about this a little bit, but I have the second one. I named her Kira.
Kira.
Kira, yeah, because Kira Gracie and back in the day, right? So she actually trained a couple years, and she got really good. But then I start growing up and be like a teenager. She said, like, Dad, I don't want to roll with these kids anymore. They smell really bad. So I say, okay. But, as you say, it's like, it was my hope that she would continue training and all that stuff. And to be honest, she became really good. I was happy. But, as you say, whatever they want to do, I'm happy with that. But, wow, 50, man. Yeah, wow. The time is flying.
Yeah.
So we are 53. We are back in the day. We were like 30 or something, I guess, when we started.
Yeah, I believe we had like 27, 28 years old when we started training.
We started a little bit older. Yeah, I wish we can. I would really, Jorge was mentioning that before too. Like he wished to be, he was training when he was like 12 or something. Jiu-Jitsu. It was, I think all of us that we started a little bit late, but we're still doing. We're still training. We still. Simon is putting the work there every time. So we just continue.
He teaches to tap a lot. I was going to ask you if you can remember any weaknesses in his game or anything I should be doing. Then let me know. That would be really.
Sure.
He actually, I remember Tomás once he went to Brazil, and then came back, and in Brazil everyone were doing like leg locks, and he just applied one knee lock to me. I was like, what the heck was that? I was like, it hurts really bad. I was like, oh, shoot. But, back in the day, and then, we didn't apply that much leg locks back in the time. But now it's everywhere. So let me ask for all of these people who's been asking me too, like, so 26 years or more training in Jiu-Jitsu, where are the best techniques that you think works for for your students or in general? What do you think is, you see so many competitions and everything, but what are the best techniques that you think, in 26 years are the best in today's time?
Well, it's like wine. The better one is the one who you prefer. There's no unbeatable technique. If you train and you put your effort into one technique, that will be your special technique. For me personally, I like wrist locking and foot locks. For me, but I have students that perform arm bars, that perform triangle chokes. I believe in my whole jiu-jitsu life, I've only performed like 4 or 5 triangle chokes, not more. But wrist locking, it's like my presentation card, For that I'm known. But whatever works for you, and it will also depend on the scenario you're doing it. Like if it's a real life situation, trust me, berimbolo won't do. Yeah. But if it's in a tournament, for sure it will work, because it's 2 trained people fighting with that rule set. On the streets, there are no rule sets, so whatever it works.
There you go. That's very cool. What do you think, Jorgito? So what's your opinion in that?
Efectivamente, así debe ser. O sea, cada quien tiene que trabajar su propia técnica y sucede en todas las academias, ¿no? O sea, tenemos chavos que son especialistas. Tengo un chavo que es especialista en el triángulo, otro que es especialista para derribos. O sea, cada quien desarrolla su propia técnica. Si los intentas estandarizar, no va a funcionar.
Y esa es la belleza, ¿no? De esto. Que dentro, o sea, esto es como yo se lo explicaba a los niños de mi escuela. El jiu-jitsu es como una caja de Lego. Trae un instructivo para armar una pieza. Pero ¿qué hacen todos? Arman lo que quieren. Con el set de piezas, arman lo que quieren. Y esa es la belleza de esto. Es un arte de autoexpresión. Cada uno se expresa de manera distinta.
Sí, totalmente de acuerdo.
That's pretty good, Simon. So I think we are running out of time, but this has been great. So everyone gets to know what really is happening in Mexico in terms of the Mexican evolution of Jiu-Jitsu, and also what I like to say, I have the chance to talk to interview actually Bas Rutten a few years ago. I don't even remember exactly, but he was saying all the time, like, the best sport is when you see, that they doing it every day. So if you are in China, you see the Chinese martial arts that they practice it every day. You go to Mexico, it will be probably the Taiwan back in the day, but Jiu-Jitsu, you put Jiu-Jitsu there to practice every day, you will get like in any level that anyone can get. So I guess what he said is true, right? So now Jiu-Jitsu is being practicing in I don't know how many schools in Mexico, and it's still growing every day. And I'm fascinated too to see young faces competing in the Panams and putting the names in the height, and also being proud of being Mexican, right? I guess so. It's pretty cool. So hopefully we can see more fighters, more people. I mean, we were so far with Yair back in the day, with now with this El Puma, or what was his name?
Pantera.
It's really good. I mean, these kids would be training since like really little, and now you just look at that. It's cool. It's cool to see that. I think I like it. And when they asked me too, like you train Jiu-Jitsu anywhere, you can also teach Jiu-Jitsu anywhere, and that's true. I guess, right, Simon? We keep working. So I guess we are running out of time. This has been very interesting. Simon, what do you think is now you learn the whole panoramic of Mexico?
Great to meet you. Great to hear how things are going. Good luck with the upcoming Worlds. And as I said, good luck with the next couple of decades. You've done an amazing job.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bueno, pues vamos a despedirnos. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Algunos mensajes que tengamos ahí, Jorgito, nada. Gracias a nuestros patrocinadores, el Top Brother, el Petscom, y bueno, muchísima gente que nos sigue apoyando. Y por favor, pues síganos apoyando para que esto siga creciendo. Ahí tienen la dirección para mandar sus aportaciones y continuar nuestra labor entrevistando o trayendo más gente interesante que hoy en día pues está haciendo las cosas en grande como lo estás haciendo tú, Tomás. Felicidades y pues hay que seguir tallándole ahí, picando piedra como lo has hecho. Pues es un orgullo ver que los números han crecido de esa manera. Jorge, nos despedimos. Muchísimas gracias, Tomás, por estar con nosotros.
Gracias a ustedes por la invitación y siempre que gusten estaré aquí con ustedes.
Perfecto. Bueno, vámonos entonces, querido Jorge.
Take care.